Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. One person has died, another taken to hospital following a shooting near downtown Timmins Wednesday night. Plus, Ontario's Minister of Education comes down on a local school board.
I shouldn't have to wait as the Minister of Education for a school to turn into what the Near North situation has for me to step in.
Paul Calandra says the Near North District School Board isn't taking the situation in Parry Sound seriously. And hundreds come out to raise money for Sudbury's Hungry.
It may not be big enough to supply all the guests that come to see it
We'll take you to the Art of the Dessert, which is supporting the local food bank in a big way.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. We begin in Timmins, where we are learning more tonight about that weapons incident that happened in the downtown area near 5th Avenue and Cedar Street North yesterday. Investigators say it was a shooting. One person was pronounced dead at the scene, while the other was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. This was the scene earlier today. Yellow tape remains up around the apparent apartment building. Patrol officers have been canvassing the neighborhood, trying to identify the person responsible. The OPP K-9 unit was also called into the scene last night. Anyone with information is being asked to contact police. Sudbury police have arrested a 23-year-old woman in connection to a fatal hit and run on Maley Drive. Police were called to Maley Drive at the Notre Dame Avenue on-ramp at 6:15 yesterday morning, where they found the body of a 37-year-old woman. She was pronounced dead at the scene. The driver is facing 3 charges, including failure to stop for an accident resulting in death. Meanwhile, no charges are being laid in that fatal collision at Atlee Avenue and LaSalle Boulevard. Police investigation determined the driver in that crash was not at fault and that speed, drugs, and alcohol were not factors in the incident. A 39-year-old woman was fatally injured just before 5 yesterday morning and was later pronounced dead in hospital. Investigators have laid arson charges in connection to that fire at a Sudbury convenience store last weekend. Around 1:30 Saturday afternoon, police and fire crews were called to the Lagasse convenience store on Notre Dame, where a shed behind the shop was on fire. An investigation revealed the fire had been intentionally set. Police have charged a 30-year-old man with 2 counts of arson and breach of probation. The Brampton man who pled guilty to assaulting a police officer in North Bay last spring will be spending time behind bars. 21-year-old Sahibjot Singh was sentenced to 4 years in prison, less time served for his actions on May 1st, 2024. Singh admitted to being high on drugs when he struck a North Bay police officer and 2 parked cruisers near the city's waterfront. The justice agreed with the Crown that by attempting to escape, Singh became a present danger to public safety. He'll remain in jail for the next 21 months. Singh also received a 3-year license suspension and a 10-year weapons ban. Singh has already received a deportation order. His lawyer says he won't appeal it. The Ministry of Education report on the issues surrounding the Near North District School Board was commented on yesterday by the Education Minister. Paul Calandra says the board isn't taking the matter seriously.
I shouldn't have to wait as the Minister of Education for a school to turn into what the Near North situation has for me to step in. And under the rules that I have right now, it is very difficult for a Minister of Education to step in to put a school or a school board back on track.
Speaking to reporters in Toronto, Calandra urged the school board to act. He doesn't believe the board is taking the matter seriously and is threatening to step in. He's emphasizing that in the wake of the report, the Ford government needs Bill 33, which, if passed, would give Ontario's education minister more power to take control of school boards, particularly around matters of public interest and expenses. In the report, the ministry issued 15 binding recommendations with a deadline. Near North's EDFO president is concerned the recommendations are setting trustees up to fail.
With senior management, and especially in regards to the director, I think that is something that the Minister of Education should take a look at. We were not aware of the credit card issue. In terms of transparency in that, it's not there. So yes, I believe that that's somewhere where the Minister of Education could actually help.
Hammond adds the report puts too much of the blame on trustees and not enough on senior management. Nursing concerns were top of mind at a meeting last night in the Algoma district. CTV's Courtney Nordstrom has more with the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario.
The recent meeting between nurses in the Algoma district and officials with the Registered Nurses Association of Ontario allowed locals to voice concerns in the field that they want to see addressed by the province. Among them, a number of changes directly towards nurse practitioners.
The equality in pay and recognition for them, and the autonomy so that they can focus on family health, general practice, working at long-term care facilities, and having the government start funding them, because in the long run, they provide just as equal service as the doctors do, but at a cheaper cost.
Leaders with the association noted that recruitment is on a high across the province. However, they're seeing a significant number of nurses aged 24 to 35 leave the profession.
We do need to make sure that the retention of that cohort is critically important, because once you pass that stage, I think you set up your family, you set up everything. You're not going to just say, oh, I move, right?
Greenspoon says that retention and recruitment can be more difficult in the north, but the CEO notes that the Minister of Health is working on a human resources strategy for the north.
So reports and strategies will not cut the cake unless there is funding and actions that that deliver the outcomes that people need. And it's not only one action. It's not only, and that goes for the province too.
A Ministry of Health spokesperson responded to the many concerns from the RNAO, saying in part, Ontario is proud to lead the country with the largest healthcare workforce and the highest compensation rates. Since 2018, we have registered a 100,000, a record number of new nurses, and we have another 30,000 nurses currently studying at one of Ontario's colleges or universities. Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Sault Ste. Marie.
A major gas leak in Kirkland Lake this morning that forced the evacuation of businesses and homes is over. People were evacuated from Government Road between Water Lane and LaBelle Avenue. Provincial police were on scene as Enbridge crews repaired the damage. People have since returned to their homes.
Approximately just before 10 o'clock this morning, there was an incident involving a vehicle which resulted in a gas leak in our downtown core. There was several businesses in the downtown core that needed to shut their doors for the time in question. There was several individuals that were also unable to go back into their homes. We did set up at the community complex for people that needed lodging or facility usage.
OPP say they're still investigating that cause of the gas leak. Police add a section of road between Wood Street and McCamus Avenue was closed to allow the Kirkland Lake Fire Service to continue its investigation. Money to help businesses build roads and infrastructure and a deficit in the billions. Those are just some of the details in the province's fall economic statement released today. CTV Siobhan Morris has more.
U.S. tariffs cast a dark shadow on Queen's Park and the latest fiscal outlook. Recycling the title of the spring budget, the plan to protect Ontario shows a lot of downward trends. The deficit is $1 billion smaller than projected in the spring, but it's down arrows for economic growth, employment, and housing starts. The finance minister says these trying times call for a steady hand.
They demand that we protect our workers and businesses and national industries from uncertainty.
But there are few new investments here for Ontario residents and businesses under strain. There is $100 million more for a fund to help smaller businesses reach new markets. There's an expansion of a manufacturing tax credit. A $5 billion fund announced in the spring has only paid out $100 million to Algoma Steel.
We've been in the process of adjudicating those applications, and we'll be having some announcements real soon.
Not enough for the opposition. They want to know if there are strings attached to that provincial help.
Workers and their families are lying awake at night worrying about layoffs and plant closures. This premier still has no jobs plan.
The minister says the government acted back in the spring.
$30 billion of tariff supports $9 billion in deferrals, $2 billion of WSIB rebates that are flowing to businesses so they can stay open, they can meet payroll and compete.
This plan makes official promises of $1 billion more for home care and a tax break for first-time homebuyers on some new homes. But with a predicted economic cooldown ahead,
the minister continues either to be deluded or to not being transparent when he forecasts a path to balance in 2027-28.
As the government builds new highways and contemplates a tunnel under the 401, it's ending the practice of setting greenhouse gas emission reduction targets.
They don't care about the fact that we're seeing increasing costs and risks associated with unsafe weather events fueled by the climate crisis.
Bethlen Falvey insists they're committed to reducing emissions through things like investing in nuclear energy.
So we're not going to relent, but we're going to focus on outcomes and not targets.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Well, cakes, pies, cookies, and tarts, oh my. Hundreds made their way over to the Banque d'Aliment Sudbury Food Bank this evening for the not-for-profit's 24th annual Art of Dessert Gala. It's the launch of their annual Christmas card campaign, and bakers who have donated their items to the food bank. There were silent auctions, live auctions. The whole goal of the night was to make a meal for someone else. Christmas cards were available for $5 each, and those who purchased 5 or more cards were able to get a tax receipt.
Warehouse supplies all the food for all our 39 member agencies in the community to feed the people that are hungry. And it may not be big enough to supply all the guests that come to see it
Oh, I'm a hobby baker. I've been baking for 5 years out of Azilda. And this is my first competition. Some of the other participants that are entering, I know them personally, and I felt like I was confident enough to try. The reason I chose the cheeseburger is Sudburyans love a good cheeseburger.
Also announced tonight, Ward 7 Sudbury City Councillor Natalie Labbe will become the new executive director after Dan Exelon steps down. Labbe has been no stranger to the world of not-for-profits and has worked in similar roles before this one. Exelon will be retiring in December. He's been the executive director for an astonishing 23 years. Oh, by the way, 2024's holiday Christmas card campaign generated over $104,000 to feed the hungry in this community. Well, that all looked delicious. Well, the weather's not really looking that sweet. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Rick will have your full weather forecast. For now, let's take a look at some of the weather warnings we have in place tonight. That area of full white, including Cochrane, Kapuskasing, Iroquois Falls, and Timmins, that is under a snowfall warning. Areas under at least 10 to 15 centimeters possible. That snow is already hitting parts of our broadcast region. The other lighter white parts are a weather statement. Not as much snow. You're going to see maybe a little more sleet as things transition towards the south. I'm looking at you, Chapleau, not involving Wawa though. Let's take a look at the current conditions. We're seeing some sleet in Wawa and Chapleau already. -3 in Kapuskasing, -1 in Sudbury, 4 degrees in Parry Sound, 4 degrees on the island. We'll have details coming up in a moment.
You see it happen. Send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Snowfall warning issued by Environment Canada, as you can see, for Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, and Hearst, Iroquois Falls, that Highway 11 corridor. This is what we've got right now and continuing into tomorrow. So about 5 centimeters this evening of snow, 10 centimeters tomorrow. So that will continue to plague the area. Then it'll change by Saturday. So again, snowfall warning as issued by Environment Canada. Some of the 7-day numbers now. Rain in Greater Sudbury Nickel Belt at 4 tomorrow, -3 Saturday, Sunday, some cloud cover -5. Chance of flurries on Monday, -3. Remembrance Day, Tuesday, we've got some cloud and 0 in the forecast. Then a return to sleet on Wednesday with a high of 2 degrees. Meanwhile, in Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, pretty well the same story tomorrow. Rain and 8. 0 Saturday, sun and cloud. Sunday, sunshine -1. Cloud cover Monday and Tuesday, 0 and 3 degrees, your expected highs. Wednesday, we've got the chance of showers, 40%, with a daytime high of 3. Timmins, snow in the forecast tomorrow, at times heavy, 5 to 10 centimeters. 2 degrees your expected high, then dropping down to minus 13 by tomorrow evening. Saturday, sunshine. Sunday, sunshine. Nice change in weather there. Minus 7, minus 5 your daytime highs. Monday, chance of flurries, minus 3, minus 1 on Remembrance Day. Tuesday, Wednesday, chance of flurries with a high of plus 1. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake, snow rain mix for tomorrow at 3, minus 4 Saturday, sun and cloud. Sunday, some cloud cover, minus 5. Chance of flurries Monday, minus 3. Cloud cover Tuesday on Remembrance Day, and Wednesday, the chance of flurries with a high of plus 1. Normally, you should be sitting at around 3 for this time of the year, but that's not the case for the next couple of days. North Bay and West Nipissing, here we go with rain in the forecast tomorrow at 4, minus 2 Saturday, minus 4 Sunday, cloud cover both days. Monday, chance of flurries at 30%, minus 3, cloud cover Tuesday, Remembrance Day, high of minus 1, and the chance of flurries on Wednesday at 2 degrees. So again, Ian, some areas getting an early taste of winter. The Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, Hearst, and Iroquois Falls areas with snow in the forecast for this evening and tomorrow. Otherwise, it'll be a wet day throughout Northeastern Ontario. Back to you.
Winter's coming. Thanks, Rick. Well, the Rainbow District School Board's Think Trades initiative is expanding, thanks to an investment from 2 Greater Sudbury companies. CTV's Lindsay Alick tells us more.
Tools will travel. It's the slogan for Rainbow District School Board's Think Trades initiative. What started as a pilot program 2 years ago now has a new truck and trailer to take trades education on the road.
It allows us to thrive in our program. We've received a donation of a few more tools now, so there's more hands-on when we come to a classroom. And then again, students aren't waiting for tools. They've got access to them right away. And then the transportation is huge. The Rainbow District School Board is very big geographically. So I mean, we cover schools from Manettville to Gore Bay. So be able to bring that opportunity to them is very crucial.
The hope is that investments like this can help with the growing demand for skilled trades workers.
It's no secret. There's a struggle right now finding skilled trades workers. Lopes, and I think every industrial contractor can speak to that as well. It's challenging for sure, but we hope that programs like this and getting involved with students will encourage them to explore opportunities in the trades, whether that's with Lopes or with another company. We just hope that they can find their passion within the trades.
The new equipment was unveiled at Alexander Public School as grade 8 students had access to safety equipment and a variety of tools which were used to create a multi-trade toolbox.
It consists of working with wood, aluminum, some 3D design, 3D printing, some graphic design, and a little bit of plumbing thrown in as well. Just a chance to introduce a lot of trades and possible career opportunities for students.
It's a new experience. I haven't really gotten a chance to do this before, but I'm finding it pretty fun.
I get to use all these cool tools that I've never used before. So I think it's really cool, and it's nice having help to do it too.
Lopes sits in its second year of a 10-year commitment of giving $100,000 to elementary and secondary students through trades programs. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Sudbury.
Officials at the North Shore Health Network say the Richards Landing Matthews site is going to be closed tomorrow. The site's expected to reopen Saturday, November 8th at 8 a.m. The Salon, Blind River and Sioux Area Hospital remain open for patient care. New statistics show Northern Ontario is seeing more toxic drug overdoses than the rest of the province. Public Health Sudbury and District says data from Ontario's Chief Coroner's Office shows rates in the region are more than triple the number in Southern Ontario for drug deaths. From January to September this year, there have been 89 suspected drug-related deaths in the Sudbury Manitoulin districts alone. Public Health saying it hopes sharing this information will increase awareness about the issue.
In addition to the toxic drugs crisis, our substances may be different in the north, but we also know that we may have lack of access to services, health services, mental health services, treatment and addiction services. Our type of work might be different in the north, more labor work.
Public Health is also issuing a warning this week as additives to the illicit drug supply are leading to heavier sedation and overdoses. Well, there's more news to come here on CTV News. For now, let's go to a live shot of Algonquin Boulevard East in Timmins. The City Hall camera courtesy of the City of Timmins. Timmins and several areas, as we mentioned, around it under a snowfall warning, up to 15 centimeters possible. Not seeing any flakes yet, but according to the radar, it's coming. Stay with us. You're watching CTV Northern Ontario. A tough night for the Wolves, who started out strong against their Central Division rival, the Barrie Colts.
Skated into the Wolves player, and now it's going to be another penalty as Hovan, he's tripped up. Here's Martin at the point. Back to the blue line. Lads fires, scores! That goal in the early few minutes of the second from Liam Lads, and it would give Sudbury a 2-1 lead, but it wouldn't take long for Barrie to respond. The Colts would follow that up with 5 unanswered goals. And that would be all she wrote for the Wolves tonight. The only other Sudbury goal coming from Jan Chauvin. Sudbury falls to Barrie a 6-2. Groundbreaking medical research was on display as Health Sciences North hosted its second Catalyst event. CTV's Madison Merrier reports.
There were 17 posters on display connecting researchers, donors, community members, and more.
We are here today to connect with the people and the stories and the patients at the heart of research, behind the research, doing the research, asking the questions to make an impact for Northern Ontario.
The event focused on aging, cardiovascular health needs, cancers that are often found in Northern Ontario, and addressing access to medical care.
When you work in a field long enough and you interact with patients as well as with colleagues, you know that there's always room for improvement. You know that there are always gaps, and you also see things that work. You see how the landscape evolves as well.
In Southern Ontario, you have much more access to funding, and you have much more concentrated funding opportunities in comparison to the Northern Ontario. But with the resources that we have, we are able to invest those resources in a meaningful research that is built to improve the care and outcomes of patients living in Northern Ontario.
Sudbury is making change with its 50-50 draw that began in 2020, allowing one lucky winner to take home half the earnings every month, while the hospital utilizes the remaining to upgrade medical equipment and fund northern research projects.
When people think of Sudbury and Northeastern Ontario, they're thinking about mines, they're thinking about that sort of thing, and they don't really realize just how big of a deal the medical research portion of things is here.
Every year, HSN 50-50 supports the HSN Foundation, which in turn funds 9 cancer research projects for Northern Ontario to the total of $300,000.
This yearly event allows community members to learn what medical advancements are happening in Northern Ontario and ways they can be involved and support the ongoing research happening across the North. Madison Merrier, CTV News, Sudbury.
The North Bay Police Service is claiming victory tonight in a friendly challenge. The 5th Annual Emergency Services Manicure Challenge raised more than $4,500 for the CIBC Run for the Cure. Over $2,200 of that was collected by police services. The winning team earns the honor of painting the nails of the other participating services pink, to be worn proudly for 1 week. Looking good. Finally, schools across our region are holding Remembrance Day services leading up to November 11th. As CTV's Angela Gemmell reports, some Legion members are making sure students understand why.
We will remember them.
The students at St. Charles Catholic Elementary School in Chelmsford repeat back to the Sergeant at Arms leading their annual Remembrance Day service.
I really like the Remembrance Day services because I find them really calming. To me, it means like remembering people who fought for us and like what they did.
The school's ceremony included typical elements of a traditional Remembrance Day service, with students taking part alongside members from Legion Branch 553.
Now we bow our heads for 2 minutes of silence.
The Legion members took time to explain elements like the different flags being used and even answered questions from the students.
We don't want the kids to forget, all our past veterans that gave their ultimate sacrifice, their lives, to protect our freedom. And that's the message I think I'm trying to relay every time I come every year, how costly it was for us to be liberated and free.
As I said in the service, nothing pleases me more than to see children remembering. They really were paying attention, listening, they were curious, they had lots of good questions, and it was a pleasure to be in front of them.
The students even made special artwork that ordained the walls of the gymnasium during the ceremony.
I think it's we really need to remember all those people that fought and died for us. Kids that don't know much about the military and that kind of stuff. It's a good way for them to learn.
Next Tuesday, the entire country will take time to remember the 2 million who have served and continue to serve. It's a lesson new generations continue to learn about and understand the importance of. Angela Gamble, CTV News, Chelmsford.
That's our newscast this Thursday night. Thanks so much for watching, and get those shovels ready, Timmins. We'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.